I hope everyone is doing well. I'm Brian Knight. I'm not Bobby Durkins. Normally, I'm not doing that here because this is the Not Bobby Durkins channel. If you're brand new here, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Hit the like button, and also I'm still using some new equipment. Please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me, and give me the thumbs up on how it sounds. Um, I know I'm a little late to this. Okay, I'm really late to this topic, but I have a thing called a job, and I had to work it before I did this video. But now I'm at a place towards the end of my day to where I say end of the day, and I hold up a red Solo cup. It's like, wow, that's how he finishes the day off. No, it's just a bunch of healthy garbage I'm drinking now. But Michael Leach, the Pirate, one of the most controversial figures in college football because he's not really he was not a yes man. Um, and I'll get into that in just a second. Unfortunately, he collapsed. I want to say on Sunday night, rushed him to the hospital, and unfortunately, he passed away. It's some type of heart condition. That's all that I've read. Now, some of you maybe you know a little more than I do. I looked only over a couple of only a couple of articles, so I did not do some deep dive on it because, like I said, I have a job and stuff. But the sad news is, either way, he has died at 61, and that's young. I mean, that's really young. You're not a spring chicken, but I mean, it's not like if he'd have passed away at 75 or 80, and you go, I never saw it coming, and but really, that's really sad for he and his family, and I hope he and his family are well. I hope that they are okay, and most likely they're not okay. They shouldn't be okay. This is a tragedy. So my prayers, my thoughts really mean nothing, but my prayers go out to them. I can think all day long and not help them whatsoever, but definitely praying for them. Let's talk about some of my favorite Mike Leach moments. Um, and before we even do that, let's just kind of dive into Mike Leach. Who is Mike Leach? What did he do? How did he carry himself? The guy really started. He was part of that whole air raid movement with Hal Mummy, and so Mike Leach. Michael Leach goes to school, plays, I want to say, rugby at BYU. He ends up getting his basically his law degree from Pepperdine, and if I have the timeline right, then he starts working with Hal Mummy, and they develop this incredible system that we know as the air raid, and became very famous, very infamous. And he he took off. He took off. And some of the players that he had play for him, and then people who coached for him and played for him, just kind of blew me away. So I'm going to go into a couple of documents here. Just bear with me. His player and coaching tree is quite impressive, folks. And I'm just going to go through this, skim over this. This is from my sources, USA Today. Not a fan of USA Today, but hey. Not a fan of USA Today, but hey. By the way, he never played football. He never played college football. Do think about that. It's crazy. So the next time, I get people send me comments all the time talking to me about, I bet you've never played a down of football and blah 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 blah. When I've criticized especially Clemson coaching, and I always like to say this: I'm not a mechanic, but if my car doesn't start, it doesn't matter that I've never changed out the transmission. I know that something's wrong, and I need the mechanic to fix it. So, there we go. Got Tiger Nation in here. I have 11 people in here, only 2 thumbs up. Am I just that terrible? Hit the thumbs up if you will. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Tiger Nation, can you hear me well? By the way, Tiger Nation just texted me and said Miles Murphy's sitting out for the Orange Bowl, and Trenton Simpson's not playing because he's hurt. That's, man. Anyway. But the coaching tree for Mike Leach is incredible. Here it is. Sonny Dykes, the coach at TCU, who's done so great. Sonny Dykes was a wide receivers coach and co-offensive coordinator under Mike Leach. Dave Aranda, the coach of Baylor now, but he was also the defensive coach for that incredible LSU team for a few years ago. No other than Lincoln Riley played under Leach, then joined the staff, and we know that, now he's at Southern Cal. Out of the past 6 Heisman Trophy winners, Lincoln Riley has 3 of the past 6. That's pretty incredible. Dana Holgerson coached with Leach at Valdosta State and was offensive coordinator for Texas Tech from 2000-2007. And obviously he was at West Virginia. Now he's at Houston. Cliff Kingsbury was a quarterback for him. Cliff Kingsbury absolutely dumped a big giant turd on Clemson during the Tommy Bowden years. None of you remember that. It was one of those obscure bowls in Florida. Clemson made it to and they played right before Christmas. And I think the final was 55-14. Texas Tech beat Clemson's head in. And Cliff Kingsbury was the quarterback for that team. And obviously he's now the head coach at Arizona for the Arizona Cardinals. So he has a lot. He has a lot, and I mean a lot of influence in college football and in football in general. So in memorandum, is that the word? Memorandum, I think. In memorandum. Okay, so let's talk about Mike Leach and the controversy. Mike Leach was fired from Texas Tech because he allegedly locked Craig James's son. Craig James was one of the commentators on ESPN. Locked his son up in an electrical shed because he had a concussion. Now, as the onion was peeled back layer by layer, we found out more and more and more. But all of these main conglomerates, all these main media conglomerates, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm one of those people that if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, swims like a duck, tastes like a duck when you cook it, it's a duck. It's a duck. It doesn't matter who's involved. It doesn't matter if it seems like it's unlikely. If it is what it is what it is. And you can be stupid and want to believe the best in other people. I don't. If a guy looks like a child molester, he probably is a child molester. And just don't leave your daughter around him or son. And I know that got really dark really quick, but I'm just saying I want to be as blunt as possible. I do not believe the media, the mainstream media, your NBCs, CBSs, your ESPNs. I don't believe them. I don't believe them unless I'm just sitting there watching a game. I do not believe them. And this was one of those stories, and this is, I mean, what, 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago. So this is before 2020 and all the craziness that went on there. And ensued afterwards. Mike Leach was hung out to dry by especially the sports media. And they ran with a story. Mike Leach takes Craig James's son, Adam James, who had a concussion, and threw him into this shed and locked him up. Oh, we've got to do something. Well, what you're supposed to first do is tone it down for a second and go, let's investigate this thing. We don't need to make this public and let the guilty by public opinion weigh in. But that's exactly what they did. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make this very, very clear. I am not a huge Mike Leach fan, meaning there was times I thought Mike was just annoying. I'm just going to be honest with you. I thought Mike was annoying at times. There was times that he drove me nuts. I'm like, dude, would you please stop? But there's also something about Mike Leach that I do appreciate, is that you never guessed you never guess what was on his mind. That's the best way for me, or best thing for me to say. Now, what I'm about to read is from Bleacher Report. This is from Bleacher Report. And this, to me, it was the Mike Leach firing testimonies and videos that shows Leach's innocence in this. And you say, why would you bring this up when he died? I'll tell you why, because it's going to come up. Our media and people who are absolutely dumb enough to hook on to, which, by the way, Bobby Durkins, my character that I created, that people still think are real, is real. I literally can post anything, and people will come out of the woodwork angry as all crap to tell me how wrong that I am. And then they'll get you can tell that they're like almost fearfully saying it, or feeling like they've got to come after me to let me know. And I'm like, this is how stupid are you? This is a character, which either says that I'm doing a really, really good job of acting like Bobby, or people are just that stupid. And I lean towards people are just that stupid as a whole. Okay. I know that's rude. No, that's mean, blah, blah, blah. Truth will set you free. There we go. But people are thirsty for some type of justice. If they think there's some type of injustice that has happened, they don't step back to take a look and see, is this real? Is this true? Did this person do this to themselves? Oh, Lord, no. No. We got to right the wrong. It's like the same idiots who goes in and votes for politicians who goes, I'm here for the people. I'm going to help the people. And it's like, okay, all right. That sounds great. I'm all for helping the people. So what's your policy? We're going to pass this. We're going to pass. No blanket statement with me. I want to see what you're going to do. Give me your plan. And if I look at your plan and I see stuff where money's going somewhere where it's not helping the people, you, sir, are not helping the people. And not only that, you should be taken somewhere, and basically you shouldn't be in your role anymore. I'll keep it that. But people do not look at the facts. They don't look at the facts. Don't care about the facts. That takes too much time, folks. Mike Leach firing. Now, I'm gonna jump through parts of this. You can go read this. I'm gonna try to link this to the video. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Mike Leach was done wrong. He was done wrong. Now, this is from December the 11th, 2010, from Bleacher Report. And okay. Michael Leach, former Texas Tech football coach, is an offensive genius, though many see him as an unorthodox, most geniuses are. But because of the events that led to his firing at TT, his reputation has been greatly damaged. Is now unable to get a new coaching position elsewhere. Now, he took a few years off, went to Washington State, did pretty well there. He can't even get an interview. Isn't that funny? This is 12 years ago. Anyone who hears that goes on to think he punished a player for having a concussion. People then immediately label Mike Leach as a scumbag and demand he never be allowed to coach again. See, there we go. We got to have justice. Does it matter if he's guilty? No, it sounds bad. We got to do something. Put down the pitchfork, Murtis. But what I find is that people do not check the facts. This person, whoever wrote this 12 years ago, if they could peek into 2020 and on, they'd wet their drawers. They read the same headlines over and over again until their mind convinces them the story is true. Listen to me, folks. I can look at you and go, I play in the NFL. 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 And you cut it off and you come back to the stream tomorrow. It's still going. 24 hours later, and I'm going with my raspy voice because I'm tired. And you know, I've said it over and over, but I get here and I go, I play in the NFL. I play in the NFL. Y'all, I still don't play. It's time to show people the facts and allow them to decide for themselves. Be sure to watch the attached videos as they show all the events in a new light. Now, I have not went through all those videos, but we all know that Adam James and everything that went on with it was ridiculous. Adam James today is probably 30 years old, 34, maybe 32, 34 years old. I'm trying to do the math of the time there. People change. I'm not here to bash him, not here to bash his dad. At the same time, we have, if you're like me, you have encountered people in the past. You've encountered people in the past who, because their dad was so-and-so, they were one of the most arrogant people you could ever come in contact with. Them personally, they did nothing. But they walked around like they climbed Mount Everest, and then on top of that found $1 billion and the cure for cancer. And that's not it. They got lucky in the gene pool and was born to someone who had some notoriety and some success. And then suddenly they believe it's passed on to them. We see this. Michael Jordan's kids, they're not good basketball players. I mean, I'm not taking a shot at them. They're totally fine. Their dad's very wealthy, and I'm sure that they're more than wealthy themselves. But Michael Jordan's sons, you couldn't even tell me their name. I couldn't tell you their names right now. Why? Because just because they were born to his airness does not mean that they share the same ability. And long story short, this is one of those scenarios where you see that this guy, at least this time in his life, he may still be like this. I don't know, but people do change, especially if they turn their life over to Christ and they submit to him. But at this time, he was. At this time, I'm not even going to comment on his salvation. I don't know that. I'll leave that between him and God. But at this time, he was living. He was conducting himself in a way to where he was entitled, and he got a guy who was very successful. He not only got him fired, he damaged his reputation. And there's an email from Lincoln Riley. He was the receivers coach. To whom it may concern, you can read this for yourself. During the last 2 years of being the inside receivers coach, I've had the chance to learn a lot about Adam James. He came to Texas Tech because of one person, Mike Leach. Although we adamantly doubted his talent, we as coaches came to see that Adam actually had enough talent to help us out. The problem, though, is that Adam is unusually lazy and entitled. Many other players on this team, specifically receivers, have a much larger role on the team with less talent. I've always been worried about Adam's effect on my other players because of his weak and conceited attitude. I recently found out that Adam deliberately undermined my authority on many occasions. This is particularly disturbing because Coach Leach hired me to make, and Adam has damaged the script far more than I even realized. He should be grateful for the opportunity that was given to him here that was not offered at any other Division I program. He has an unbelievable sense of entitlement because of who his father is, one that hurts himself and people around him. He goes on, and by the way, there's another one from Lincoln Riley as well. There's an excerpt from Graham Harrell. I believe he's coaching somewhere right now, Texas Tech's quarterback, where he claimed that Adam was often injured, but it was stuff that normal people would play through. It was like, hey, I'm banged up, but I can play through this. It wasn't like a concussion or broken arm or anything. And it says at the end, Adam was a kid that seemed like he had been given everything he wanted his whole life and acted like if things didn't go exactly how he wanted, someone was treating him unfairly or someone needed to be blamed for his failure. He was a selfish player on and off the field that was counterproductive for our team and would be for any other team. Graham Harrell. And my friends, you can go check this out. I mean, this is a big deal. Also, another big thing that stuck out to me as well is when the whole COVID mandates were coming down last year. You remember they fired Washington State's coach for that. For not taking the vaccine. I don't blame him. If you feel like that's good for you, you want to take the vaccine. If that's you, you do it. You take it. You go for it. But to tell somebody that you're just going to fire them because they're not going to do it, as we've seen. Now I've probably said too much. They'll probably get a strike on this video, but I really don't care. That it really hasn't helped anybody unless you're like severely obese with terrible health or you're an old person. Everybody else is just healthy and they're fine, and they get really sick and then they get over it. But that's not how things were treated. Mike Leach was asked last year. He was asked about his status and if he'd have been, we'll say, inoculated. I'm trying to use different words so I just don't get the whole strike thing. Isn't that sad that I have to worry about that in the United States? I don't care if this is a platform and they can do whatever they want. That's ridiculous. My God. But good grief. But Mike Leach would not talk about it openly. And then people came down on him because he would, oh, you mean you're not going to go out there and be another evangelist for this? You mean for the pharmaceutical companies? And that's one thing that I'm happy that he didn't do that. I respect that. So Adam James, he had to deal with that stuff, got him fired, came back. And then he was outspoken in the sense of, hey, and what he said was, Mike Leach had a way with words. He said, for me to try to comment on yes or no with this, and what he said was actually very well said. He said, it's like trying to comment on a hit in a tennis match. It's just back and forth, 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 back and forth. It's hard to comment on just one hit. And that was well said. And then, of course, all the social activists, journalists, which most of them are, if they're not working in HR, not all HR people are like that, but most of them are. If they're not in HR, they're in journalism. Just hoping to be the next person to make a difference. And all they really do is just make things worse. B-Bean, if you love vaccines, you can still watch my channel. you can just absolutely vax up right now. You do whatever you want. The moment uh um the moment that I tell you I'm going to take away your livelihood because of it, and then find out later on that it's not really working, and you're just going to have to get boosted the rest of your life, that would be wrong for me to do, and vice versa. Let's see. Have I heard about gematria? Jordan, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't know what that is. Please enlighten me. Midland's directory, Coach James will have the last laugh. Not that this is a laughing matter, because it's not. LOL. He just won't be watching it as long as the rest of us. Yeah, yeah. So he's coaching. Adam James is coaching somewhere. I take it. I don't care if he became a Super Bowl winning quarterback, um, or a Super Bowl winning head coach. What he did, Mike Leach, was wrong. And if you've experienced any amount of life that is outside of living under a rock, you've encountered people that, because, and I said this earlier, because their dad or mom or family had some type of notoriety, suddenly their farts didn't stink, their piss didn't stink, they could do no wrong, and if they did, suddenly you hated them, or you were discriminating against them, and it's like, oh my God, my head is hurting. No, this is called life. Not everybody is going to uh, um, you know, yeah, say I mean, there was one guy I used to. I get you, Midlands. Uh, what what bothers me about this is that I used to play basketball with a guy. He came from a very, very well-to-do family that made a lot of money, and he just felt like everything was supposed to be handed to him. I've never, okay, I won't say I've never met. I've met other people like him, but I'm just saying those individuals can be very, very toxic. Did I just say toxic? Big Bean will be here in 100 years, unless God says not. We'll be here in another 100 years. I promise you that. The ice caps, the ice caps, and all that stuff may melt. It'll just relocate within another part of the world. I promise you, hands down, promise you that. Most of that climate change stuff is just being pushed by people who want to make money off regulations, just like vaccinations, which that's up to you. You do your thing. I even encourage some of my elderly family members who does have, who are more susceptible to certain sicknesses. I tell them, hey, go get it. I'll drive you down there if you want it. You get it. But let's not be fooled. The pharmaceutical companies in hand with the government made a ton of money. Still making a ton of money on that stuff. So anyway, we're on football here. Mike Leach paid a big price for that, and it's very bothersome. And so I just want to say on this, I very well doubt anybody from his family or anybody who's friends with him will ever see this. But I think because when someone dies, something always comes up. It always comes up about this, that, and the other. And I want any of you who watch this, I want you to remember that I told you about what happened, like the full version, not the media version. I'm talking about the truth. It just is. It's just Big Bean says, "What do you think will come up?" This whole that they'll, and you watch it on ESPN, they'll frame it as, but one tarnish on his legacy was the incident at Texas Tech. Yeah, that you guys propagated. You flipping propagated it. You're the one who did it. You're the one who took the message and promoted it. You took your marketing dollars You took your budget, and instead of spending time talking about football, basketball, baseball, players that are being traded, deals that are being done, stadiums that are going to be refurbished, or maybe a new stadium, maybe a new coach that's going to be hired. Going to talk. You could talk about. You could talk about rivalries. You could talk about an upcoming playoff. You could talk about anything, but instead you took your money and you put it into that because that would drive some type of viewership just in case you were the one who broke the story first. You never say you're sorry. You never step back and say, we're not going to do it again, or we're going to be more careful. Nope, 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 nope. Hell will freeze before you ever say anything like that. So I want to be the one who, in my little bonus room up here, in my older house with the popcorn ceilings, over here in the corner with my little mic, in between when I get a chance, I want to be the one that if I get to tell the truth, I tell the truth. I want to be the one that I can say, you know what? If I only had 10 people watching me, at least I told those 10 people the truth. So, well, I'm going to get off of here. I am going to start another video. I am going to talk about the transfer portal. I'm going to talk about Grayson McCall leaving Coastal Carolina. By the way, I really like Grayson McCall's football play. He's the man. I've seen him now play 3 different times. Just side note, if you're a coach out there in college and you need a quarterback, I don't care where you're at, you make it worth Grayson McCall's while, because that guy is the best RPO quarterback in the country. Yeah, I said it. RPO quarterback in the country. So I'll talk about that in just a second. If you're brand new here, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications. If you made it to the 30-minute mark, good for you. I appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, thumbs up. Y'all take care of yourselves. And here in just a few, I'm going to talk about Grayson McCall and the transfer portal. Even on a bad day, it's a good day to be a Tiger. Go Tigers.